Association is a professional non-profit body affiliated to All India Management Association with the aim to promote scientific management in industry and trade. It also undertakes training and consultancy to improve managerial effectiveness and competitiveness of its members. Merit Management Association, formed in 1966, is registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860. The founder members of the association were Sri K.N. Mohan, Managing Director, Mohan Meekins Breweries, Sri Sultan Singh Jain, Managing Director, Saru Smelting, and Sri R. Sahai, General Manager, Dorala Sugar Works.
Moving on, so what I tried to do here was try to relate in terms of all of this that we do in terms of the M&A work we do. What is the likely impact and how COVID will impact the environment now, right? The first thing is the mergers and acquisition recovery. What we've seen in the Indian market, is definitely slow down because of course everybody's locked down. But unlike a lot of I had seen the 2008 sort of financial crisis, and even earlier when I started work was the 2001 sort of crisis where I was in the US that time, and there was a .com bust and September 11 terrorist attacks, and the market tanked, right? And every time that happened, within a few months, it was like everything shot up, and everything was much better than it was before a crisis. We saw that, with the financial crisis as well. But I think one of the things with this lockdown and what everybody's doing is, it's not going to be a V that everyone talks about. It's going to be a long sort of U. We're going to be in this lull for some time. And as this gets uncovered, that is what the expectation is. And even that there are certain signs where the recovery, especially for mergers and acquisitions to happen, is going to go up and down sometimes. It's not going to be okay. It's going to shoot up like it did probably 2010 when everything settled from the financial crisis. So I think that's a key thing to keep in mind. As we look at our businesses, as we look at opportunities that come about, is where you and your business is in this cycle. There is a saying that somebody had recently told me, which was, I just want to read it out.
आवाज इसमें पहले भी नहीं आ रही थी और आज भी नहीं आ रही। दिखाना आप लिखाना आप करना।
मीनू जी अगर आप अपने आप को म्यूट कर दें। So the key question जो हम entrepreneurs हैं और business हैं, उसमें one of the key questions that I got asked recently, and I want to ask all of you, and all of you should reflect on that, is how are you not wasting a crisis? Right? There's a lot of learning from 2008 in terms of how we can ready ourselves, how we can think about our businesses differently, and it's important, as business owners, as especially being impacted with this lockdown, I'm sure all of us are, is how are we not wasting this crisis? What are we going to do differently when lockdown ends? What are we going to drive differently? How are we going to run our business differently? That's very important for us to do, right? It's while we wait for government and while we wait for bailouts and while we wait for stimulus, it's equally important for us to think in terms of how we can be running our business differently from a perspective of how do we manage our customer relationships, how do we manage our supply chain from the back end, how do we look at lowering our indirect costs, as we call it in financial terms, indirect costs being non-business related costs, right, which are not directly driving my revenue. How are we looking at our businesses? quickly, and that's how you should be challenging yourself, especially if we have a lot of time at home right now. Is how am I going to run my business differently when I go to work, right? Or how am I going to run my business differently while staying at home, even if that is, I know manufacturing is limited, but other than that, can I be doing something differently? And that's the idea. You don't want to waste a crisis, and which is very important. So when we look at the M&A aspect, through this and through all of this, the M&A, of course, the lens by which diligence or a company was evaluated is going to change, right? The more people we talk to in terms of understanding what is it in a business that they will look at now, right? And when historically, जो focus areas एक business के होते हैं would probably be 4 or 5 things I would list down. One, what is my revenue model and what is the sustainability of my revenue? What is driving my EBITDA, which is my profit, and my cash flow? What is my working capital cycle? How is that going to be different? What is my debt position? How am I going to service my loan? And then finally looking at what is it from a growth perspective. Where is it I am going to sort of look at things. So when we look at revenue and EBITDA, right, one would need to look at what are the short-term and long-term impacts of it. Now, when we look at the short-term impacts, of course, when somebody is looking at a business, if you were lucky enough to be in a business that is still doing well, such as pharmacies or online shops or essentials, right? So there, the numbers are going to be much higher when you look at this time compared to everybody else, where it's going to be a little lower. So how much of that revenue is postponed versus cancelled? How is it that one is going to supplement this revenue? What is the new revenue model? Is one that everybody is going to be focused on. Looking at supply chain disruptions is the other thing. How are we going to change the productivity, or how with the labor sort of migrating back? What is going to be the production impact, and when does that get started? So I think the lens in terms of doing M&A this is what is going to be, and is cost going to increase as a result of alternate sourcing, compliance costs, health costs that all of us would need to maintain, any IT related costs, especially if you're in service type industry where you're working from home, or you're trying to run your business remotely. Is there going to be an IT cost? How do you manage your discretionary spend? So all that is going to be driving our revenue and EBITDA in the short and mid term. And then long term is looking at, do I need a revenue model change, or is it possible? Or do I need to partner with other people in this? I think that's also going to be important to understand. The next is working capital, and I'm sure collecting and sort of collecting debtors and getting has been a challenge in the past also, and it's not going to be easy, right? So our what we call working capital in terms of the liquidity and cash available is going to be impacted. So when M&A does happen, one would need to look at do we need working capital data, which is more जब आप अपनी कैश और बुक भी मेंटेन करते हो, अगर हमें और लोन चाहिए या हमें फंडिंग चाहिए, we would need to maintain that more regularly rather than just doing it at a year-end annual account. We might just need for any sort of potential investment or tie-up, we might just need to shore up that hey, we have the working capital. We might just need to do that on a quarterly basis and ticked off and tied off at least in the next year or so. And we need to be ready with that. The reason I'm covering all of this is also when we look at potential, fundraising or potential tie-ups or potential investments coming, these are some of the things that people will look at. And rather than sort of, doing this 6 months down the line, you need to start thinking about if you are in a situation where you think you will do a merger or acquisition or will be part of that, or will look at investment. This is something that you would need to start thinking about now, rather than sort of when you get a partner. So make sure that your books and everything in terms of financials, in terms of your business plan is sort of sorted out. what are the cash flow impacts that you're going to go through? Of course, there's going to be cash flow impact in the short term related to restarting plants or investing in technology for non-manufacturing companies who are maybe not working or are now working remotely. So I think that is also, these are things we just need to go to be focused on. The other important thing is going to be your business plan, especially if you're looking at any sort of alliance right now. People will want to know what is your business plan going forward, right? So are you able to look at over the next month? And the reason I'm saying this is next month, generally we look at business plan for 5 years, but we don't know what 5 years would look like right now. We don't know what next month is. So I think it's important to break down our business now on a monthly basis, so that we are able to sort of build on that business plan. Should we get into an M&A, then we're able to show that, hey, my business plan has been growing. This is what I had projected. This is, as a promoter of my business, I know how to run this business. That is what we have to show, right? And how do you show that? You show, I had said next month we will do this much. Here's what we've done, and you keep building month on month on month, and build a monthly sort of business plan. That my revenue over the next year, every month I target 100, 200, 300, or 100, 110, 120. And then what is the supply chain behind that supporting that? Because that is going to be equally important, right? That not just your revenue growth, but also where is it that the raw materials, the commodities, with this fluctuating prices, are those showed up as well. One of the big things that, in case you supply to other companies as well, one of the big things we've started noticing, at least for larger companies, is investors are doing diligence on their suppliers, right? So not just on the larger corporates, but who supply to them, to make sure that the supply chain of that is as relevant. So if you are a supplier to larger corporates, you might just want to look at shoring up your books, because there's a lot of focus coming downstream also in terms of looking at who are the suppliers in the entire chain. And any sort of change in business model that you think in terms of, okay, my business is going to be really different. So that is also going to be part of this business. And last, of course, is share purchase agreement. Everybody is now starting to put what we call MAC, that's a material adverse change clause. Nobody was prepared for something like this, and a lot of people who sort of signed up doing M&A, say 2 months back, the business has completely changed. So everybody started putting a clause so that they protect themselves. If your business changed significantly, then they're able to pull this out. So something you need to be mindful of while doing this discussion. Other than that, from a COVID M&A perspective, it's a very sort of, there's enough literature out there, and I can share a couple of links with Gaurav, we can share it with all of you, that talks about how our economy is going to be very different. But I think it's still very unpredictable over the next 2 to 3 months. When we first got into this in end of March, early April, everybody was hopeful that by March, by May, June, things will start reviving. But I think it is still a long way. Now all the predictions are towards August, September is when we see some sort of recovery starting, and it's going to be a lot slower. So I think it's important to stay strong in this environment. At least as small business owners, it's important to make sure that you have the resistance to weather the storm. I think that's the most important thing. A lot of people are survival is the key, right? On a different note, I can share with all of you, I have a lot of clients that I work with in China. So China is within itself is in full recovery mode, right? So people are traveling internally everywhere, all places are opening. So just on a positive note, I just wanted to share that, because they've been through this cycle of 2-3 months going through that. And when I talk to my colleagues in China, they are pretty much back to 50% of their M&A levels in terms of where they were before all of this happened. So it's important, I think, to keep our options open and keep looking at M&A and be prepared. The key thing is to prepare from now in terms of what we want to get into. And if you feel that an M&A is in your likely future, or you want to do JVs or you want to do alliances, then it's important to prepare your business as well for that. And that is what I wanted to share. So, from just my talking perspective, that is pretty much what I had prepared for. Gaurav, I just wanted to sort of open it up for any questions at this time that anybody has.
Yes, we do have first question for immediate past President, Mr. Vibhor Agarwal. Vibhor, I am unmuting you. You can ask the question. Vibhor.
Yeah. Hi, Rohit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah. Hi, Rohit. Thanks for the presentation. I'm into heavy engineering fabrication. So I want to ask you that this year, with all the current information that we have, what sort of revenue projection as a percentage of last year's revenue should I make to decide my budgets? Whether it should be 50% of my last year's revenue, or 75% of my last year's revenue, or 65% of my last year's revenue. I mean, that is very important for me to decide what will be my budgets for staff salary, for other things, and therefore what kind of cuts that I need to take.
Because it's very sorry, please.
Yeah, so just wanted your opinion on that, given all the current information regarding this pandemic that we have. What kind of projection one should have?
See, I think it's important to understand, are your customers going to be back in the short term, right? So the end usage in terms of the fabrication that you did for the customers, are they, we need to look at the end market as well, right? So if you feel they are going to be back or up to certain, I think even if you look at 50 to 75% of last year's revenue is not bad, right? And if you feel that those customers are going to be rebounding faster, because it's important to keep a track of what the end result is going to be, how fast everything else is rebounding right now. Because right now it's like the stock market, right? It's going darts. If anybody is telling you any number, it's like going darts, because nobody's going to know what's going to happen on Monday right now, right? Whether lockdown is ending for any of us or not, we don't know that yet. So, and even post that in terms of how businesses, especially I think, the small and medium businesses, and coming back, the costs that are involved in terms of the precautions one needs to put in place in terms of the social distancing of the workers as well. That's going to have a toll in terms of the cost as well, right? And this is a cascading effect. It's not on you alone, but it's the entire cascading effect of the customer.
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell you a number. That's why I'm not. I wish we all had that call we can look at right now.
So I think so. It's quite just an assumption. We can think about the number, right? I think so. It's about a deep down statistics. We have to do it regarding what are the numbers going to be.
I'm a very optimistic guy, right? So I look at it from a perspective. There will be more people wanting to get fabrication done than there is done.
It's quite important to be optimistic at this point of time, right? There's no reason to go pessimistic or think something negative about it.
So I would look at it that more people will want to get fabrication than doing their own stuff.
Right. So we do have the next question with us. Before I think so, it's to answer your queries. In case you have more clarification, please let us know. So we have one more question. This is from Mr. Rajiv Jain. Can India be a market for technical collaboration? How we can invite companies to tie with us? It's something about the acquisition. It's also there in the chat window. You can.
No, absolutely. And I think, Rajivji, it's important. I definitely India can be a market for technical collaboration. We've seen that change in the telecom market, right? I think it's important to build, if there is interested companies, or if one thinks one has a capability of technical collaboration, there's always a reach out possibility in terms of, and that's why the profile of the company from India who wants to do the technical collaboration becomes important, because a lot of these companies would get numerous sort of inundations of people who wanted to tie up. But the backing and the experience that one would have in such a collaboration would be important when the first contact is made as well. And using the right channels, so whether it's a consultant or whether it's a customer making an introduction, I think that generally helps quite a bit.
So along with this, I do have one more question. Rohit, are you there?
I mean, sorry, just taking water.
No problem. So I do have one quick question in my mind. Most of the MSME sector in Meerut or in and around Meerut is basically a family running unit. So basically, when it's a family running unit, we only focus on 3 or 4 things majorly. One is product development. Second is sales, purchase, payable, and receivables. That is our core focus when we talk about family business.
Correct.
So, with your presentation, I came to know that we need to work on the balance sheet part, right? Because most of the family business units, they leave the entire balance sheet to the CA, right? Everything with the entire figures of in and out, working capital, cash flow, what's it? They just intimate us, okay, sir, cash is being negative, you need to withdraw cash. This is going to happen. This is what you have to. So, I think so. With this, we really need to also focus about how things gonna be if we are thinking something about mergers and acquisition in long run. And with the current scenario and situation, I think so this what's gonna be happen in the past 1 or 2 in the coming years.
Honestly, one of the things, and the reason I covered that today is one of the things that when I used to do active financial due diligence of companies in India, and we used to do a lot of, I've done a lot of sort of medium and small company diligences there as well. And the biggest challenge we would face was, when there is a potential good investment or good alliance opportunity, but given that generally we tend to have dual books in some sense, or we generally tend to do some cash transactions, manage cash. The balance sheet strength is not there, right? And then it's difficult to do, even if you want to do a tie-up or a technical tie-up. So, earlier question. What happens is anybody wanting to do a tie-up with you would want to see a strong balance sheet in terms of who the person is investing. And that's why I say if somebody is looking at wanting to do an M&A, it's important to strengthen your balance sheet. Whether you focus or your CA focus, that's a different thing. See, in the end, to run a business, you covered all the right points, right? And that's what every promoter, every family business is driven on. You need to work on cash, bottom line, in terms of while we look at everything else, which is completely fine, right? And this is how we need to run our business. But at the same time, somebody needs to be focusing on creating a strong balance sheet. Whether it's you yourself or your CA doing it, if you are looking at an M&A, it's important to make sure that that strength is shown within the balance sheet. Because otherwise, nobody would want to do a tie-up with you. And that's where whenever I look at small companies and we struggled. Because then suppose, paper mein nikal ke aata hai, but that doesn't work with sort of, if you look at, our investor type.
So we do have one more question from Mr. Sanjay Gupta. He is from Muzaffarnagar. The question: I am having a chess customer buying SS casting from our foundry as well as from China. What can I expect from the customer in chess if they will be shifting additional volume to us or any other foundry in India? So I do certainly feel if the customer is doing business with you, he'll first tap you to increase the production and supply the goods, and then afterwards, probably if you are not able to comply with these demands and the quality parameters, then certainly he can think of some other foundry. I think so, Rohit, you can put some more light on that.
And Sanjay ji, this is the right time to hit your customer with more work for yourself, right? Because there is a very, for our own benefit, there is a very big anti-China sentiment all around the globe. And this is the right time for you to get more business for yourself by going very hard at them. Even though you can't be there physically, use Zoom, use any other method, talk to them and make sure that they are transferring their manufacturing to you.
I do believe that this is a perfect time to get in touch with the customers all around the world, not only with the specific customer. It's a right time and it's an excellent time to mature all those leads in terms of customer relation or in terms of business with them, it's perfect time. And it's not only anti-China in India, I think so it's anti-Chinese all around the world as of now. The people are thinking of some other sourcing partner.
And the other thing, I've realized being in professional services, a lot of my clients always used to tell me they don't have time, right? जितने भी आप फोन कर लो, अभी टाइम नहीं है, मैं इसमें बिजी हूँ, अभी सब फ्री है, right?
Exactly.
That's the good part of it. Most of the world is in a lockdown. Everybody has time. Everybody wants to know what is beneficial for them, right? And then everybody's going to come on the phone right now. So there is, Gaurav, like you mentioned, there is no better time to be connecting with your clients and talking to them right now.
I think so. With this, Sanjay, Rohit has already answered your inquiries. In case you do have something, you can get in touch with Rohit on his email address, or you can write to us. You can directly to Rohit, and even Rohit, you can have his number.
Sure, absolutely.
And Rohit, one quick last question I would like to ask is when we talk about merger and acquisition, I want to change it a little bit to joint ventures. There might be companies in China who are looking for partners in India because in terms of China, the image that has been casted after this COVID-19 is very bad around the world. So even the Chinese company might be looking for some joint ventures or some plant in India. So what do you think of scope of this in terms of MSME segment? Would that be in future MSME would be taking this opportunity to have a joint JVs with Chinese companies?
Absolutely. I don't think there is any reason to say no to anything. Right? And as much as we want to be anti-China or not anti-China, they have created world-class infrastructure and companies, right? And that's why they supply 25% of the world's goods. So even if there's a tie-up, and even as an MSNBC, there might be so much to learn from them. That's how I would look at it, right? So there is no reason for not getting into discussion.
Okay, one last thing. Quick 5 points that a customer looks in a balance sheet in terms of merger and acquisition. Top 5 things that we need to focus in a balance sheet.
I think one is the first and foremost is your cash profit. Right? Cash profit, what I mean is not your net income, but in terms of how much cash positive profit are you generating. Right? Second is what is your working capital sustainability. Third would be what is your debt position, and not just pure financial debt, but debt like item. So what I mean there is, are you delaying your creditor payment significantly and using that as debt? Right? Or are there any other elements that you're not pushing on debt? The fourth is any other sort of hidden liabilities that impact that might not be there. And fifth is the sustainability of your business. And what sustainability I mean is how much of your revenue is profit now versus a straight line. Is it just down because of COVID? Is it just up because of COVID? All those sort of would be normalized. I would say those are the top 5 things. Then in your supply chain that
That's great. With this, I would like to have one more question. In terms of Meerut being a B town, what do you think the scope of mergers and acquisition in Meerut?
If we are able to demonstrate world-class manufacturing, there is no reason, even if that investment is required, to get it to a certain level, right? If the family-owned businesses can show that they are capable of driving such businesses, there is no reason why there would be any problem. Then the road corridors and everything are being set up so that the transport issues are also taken care of.
I think so. That's very well explained. And with this, I think so. We have come up to the end of the session. It was really nice and informative session that you have given, Rohit. We are just clear with the concept of this merger and acquisition. We've been thinking this is something very big and very important that we can't do it or cannot have it. But it just give us a right picture how we can think about merger and acquisition in the future and the possibilities that we are having in the coming months or probably years. And with this COVID situation, I think so we will be having more and more of merger and acquisition in terms of what's going to happen in around all the world. Not only China and India, we are talking about the merchant shifting from many other countries as well. So as of now, all major companies are thinking of one plus one scenario. If you have a one supplier in India, they will look for some
Absolutely.
good supplier in some other country as well. So with this, I would personally like to thank you and for your time and your conducting this session.
Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you everyone for being such a good.
We do not have much participation today because I do have feeling received few calls. Some are having login issues, people are having login issues with Zoom, right? So I think so. We'll be having you again in case we have more queries. We will be sharing your
More than
information
happy.
with our members. We will be sharing your information with members in case they have certain queries. They can get back with you. And I think so. You will be again helping us in terms of merger and acquisition throughout the time. Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Everyone. Okay.
Bye.